What's up? How are you? Welcome back to Mind Hormones. I am very excited about this episode because I've actually had some requests about talking about endometriosis. So we are getting into it today, but everything that I talk about on this show is going to support you no matter what imbalance you have, because like I always say, when you're addressing the body as a whole, when one thing improves, everything improves. And when you are just optimizing the most important functions of your body, which is what we always talk about on the podcast, no matter what your issue is, whether it's endometriosis or painful periods and it's not endometriosis, or PCOS, you want to get off birth control, you have low fertility or high estrogen, low progesterone, whatever it is, it's going to be supported. But specifically today, we are going to be talking about endometriosis. Now, if you are someone who you know that you're diagnosed with endometriosis, this is obviously going to support you. But even if you're someone who has a painful period and you maybe have not been diagnosed with endometriosis, this is also going to support you. But like I just said, no matter who you are, this episode is going to support you. So let's freaking go. Let's get into it. So the root cause of endometriosis. Okay, obviously we are all about the root cause. Endometriosis at the root, or what it actually is an inflammatory disease. That's what it is. And endometriosis, if you don't know, it occurs when endometrial tissue, which is normally found in the uterus, is where it's supposed to be, it grows in places outside of the uterus, places that it's not supposed to be. That's what endometriosis is. A lot of times this will happen on the ovaries, on your fallopian tubes, on your fallopian tubes, or on your abdomen, which could be obviously extremely painful. And because the endometrial tissue that is now growing in places that it's not supposed to responds to the same hormonal shifts that trigger your menstrual cycle, the pain that you may experience from endometriosis is going to follow the same cycle as your period. Okay, so that's why a lot of people who have endometriosis feel a lot of extreme pain during their actual period, and sometimes also during ovulation could be painful for you as well, because during ovulation is when estrogen levels are at their highest. And when you have endometriosis, excess estrogen is one of those symptoms that you experience. So you already have a lot of estrogen. So having that higher peak of it during ovulation could also trigger some pain. Most of the time it is always around your period though. But the thing is with endometriosis, most people don't get diagnosed with it either ever, or they don't get diagnosed with it till years or decades after. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me, not cutting it out. We're moving on. Thank you if you said bless you. um, a lot of times people who have endometriosis don't get diagnosed until decades after they've been experiencing it, because in our society, we normalize pain around your period. And that is one of the things I like shout from the rooftops is pain is not normal. No matter what type of pain you're experiencing, it's never normal. You should not be experiencing any form of pain during your period. Obviously, you're going to feel a little bit of heaviness, you might feel a little bit bloated, you're going to feel a little bit tired, like all of those things are normal. If you have cramps on a scale of 1 to 10, if you have cramps anywhere from like a 1 to a 3, where it's just like discomfort, you're good. But anything more than that, where it's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, where you feel like, ooh, maybe I could use an ibuprofen, or ooh, I'm so uncomfortable, I can't do anything, or it's noticeably painful, that is not normal. Is it common? 100%, because of the lifestyle we live and because we've never educated on how to live a life that actually supports our hormones, but it's not actually normal. I lived the majority of my, the majority of my life at this point, when I was getting a period for so long. If you don't know my story, I had an irregular, I do not have endometriosis, I have PCOS, but for the majority of my time getting a period, I got my period when I was 15 and a half. And now at the time of this recording, I'm 34. So for the first decade, from actually longer than that, from about 15 and a half to 26, so a little over a decade, my period was all over the place. Like it would come 3 times a year, it wouldn't come, whatever. But when it did come, my doll was my best friend. Okay. I had cramps. It was not fun. It was not because of endometriosis. It was simply because I was not regularly ovulating, so I was not producing progesterone. So I just had too much estrogen in relation to my progesterone levels, which is going to cause that pain. That's a different cause of why people who have endometriosis have pain, but it goes back to the estrogen reason. It's just a different reason why that estrogen is there. Anyway, so I totally understand what it feels like to have cramps. I do not understand what it feels like to have the extreme pain with endometriosis. I've had clients before who have had endometriosis where literally they had to take Percocets, they could not get out of bed, they had to call into work. Like it is extreme if you really do have endometriosis, or again, maybe you don't know if you have it, but you experience this pain. First of all, it's not normal, and there are ways to improve it. So let me tell you, the clients that I'm talking about, I feel like that's me. Like I have to take extreme pain medication. I can't get out of bed. I've tried everything. Like those same clients were then a few cycles later, about 3 months later, they were able to do yoga on their period. Didn't have to take anything. Like they were all good. So we're obviously going to be talking about 5 steps that you can actually focus on to help support your endometriosis at the root cause level. But I wanted to just first talk about what it actually is. So, and to not normalize pain, because when we're normalizing pain with our periods, young girls who are in high school are just like, oh yeah, I have my period, I have cramps. Like that's just what it is. Like, yeah, your period equals cramps. Like that's the association we have. And this causes us to ignore the pain, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And instead of acknowledging the pain, knowing that it's not normal from the get-go, looking into it, and instead of waiting decades where now we have a more like a late diagnosis, a more severe diagnosis, whether it's endometriosis or whatever it is, that's going to lead to more severe interventions like I said operations, but yeah, operations. That's not really the word I want to use. Surgery. There we go. Like surgery. A lot of people who have endometriosis have to get the endometrial tissue that is now growing outside of the uterus scraped off, which that is a real intervention that has to happen a lot of times if it's gone so many decades without it, and you've done all the things obviously that I recommend, and we talk about it in the Mind Your Hormones method to actually reduce that inflammation that's going to help with endometriosis. A lot of times surgery is what has to happen. A lot of times it doesn't, but you know what I'm saying? It's always an option, but it's because of this late diagnosis. And so we need to not normalize pain. Okay. Thank you for coming to my 7-minute TED Talk. Now let's get back into the episode. So what we eat. So again, root cause of endometriosis is inflammation, because endometriosis is an inflammatory disease. So the main thing that you need to focus on for painful periods and endometriosis is lowering your inflammation levels. What you eat, the toxins that you're exposed to, and how well your body actually detoxifies the, why am I struggling to speak today? How well our bodies can detoxify the toxins that we are exposed to, like through your poop, through sweating, through peeing, how well your liver does with detoxifying and metabolizing and processing all your hormones and toxins and metabolic waste and all of that. That's going to drive inflammation and fuel your endometriosis. The things you're eating, the toxins you're exposed to, and how well or how not well your body is able to detoxify all of that. That's what's leading this inflammation and fueling the endometriosis. So again, we're going back to the root cause of the endometriosis, which is inflammation. Okay. So I want to talk about 5 things you can do to reduce inflammation. And again, this is important. This root cause, inflammation is a root cause of like so many, not even just hormone issues, autoimmune diseases. Inflammation is a root cause of PCOS. It's a root cause of endometriosis. It's a root cause of IBS. It's a root cause of joint pain and fatigue. Like there's so many things that inflammation is a root cause of. And so many women and people in general experience inflammation because of the way that we are living our lives and the things that we're eating in this fast-paced go society. So no matter what is going on with you, focusing on these is going to be really, really important, which is why this is the 3rd module of the Mind Your Hormones method, because no matter what you're coming to me with, we have to tackle inflammation. Because if there's inflammation present in your body, whether it's big or small, it's going to have an effect on your energy, on your cycles, on your fertility, on your skin, on your gut health, on your poop, on everything. Okay. So 5 things to focus on to reduce inflammation if you have endometriosis, painful periods, literally anything in life. Here we go. Number 1, greens and beans. Okay. Greens and beans. I want you to think about those 2 things. How can you eat something green every single day? Whether that's spinach, mixed greens, broccoli, peas, Brussels sprouts. What else is green? String beans, cabbage. Like, how can you eat something green every single day? Don't have to eat all those different things every single day, but you know what I'm saying? Actually, well, that's a whole other story. Anyway, greens and beans. So have something green, eat something green every day, and eat beans every single day. Why? Greens are extremely anti-inflammatory. They're also filled with chlorophyll and antioxidants. They really help feed the good bacteria in your gut. They're multifaceted. So focusing on having something green every single day, whether that is putting organic spinach in your smoothie, whether that's having organic spinach or mixed greens or broccoli or whatever with your lunch, whether that's like you have quinoa and broccoli and avocado and beans and whatever with it. Like, how can you have something green easily every single day? Those are easy ways that you could just get them in. Literally whatever you're eating, just throw a handful of mixed greens or a few handfuls of organic spinach, or again, you could cook things like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, whatever it is. Okay, you know what things are green. Have something green every day and eat beans every single day. Why beans? I have a whole episode on beans. This is also a training in the Mind Your Hormones method because it's that important. But I will link below the episode that I did where I talk specifically about beans and why it's so important for your hormone health. So definitely go back after this episode and watch that. But for a little summary of it, beans are the highest form of soluble fiber in the plant kingdom, which means soluble fiber comes into our body and it acts like a net, and it picks up and mops up all the excess hormones and toxins and metabolic waste that's floating around in our body. It packages it up in this nice little package. It moves on to our gut, and then we poop it out of the body. It also helps feed the good bacteria in our gut. It's full of iron. It's really, really, really important. So eating beans is going to help reduce that inflammation, and it's also going to help mop up the excess estrogen that you are experiencing from endometriosis, because again, inflammation drives excess estrogen. So excess estrogen is a major root cause of endometriosis, which is why you're experiencing this pain. And we want to lower that as much as possible. So having soluble fiber like beans every day is going to help mop that up and get it out of the body, instead of it staying floating around and recirculating back into your body, causing the pain to be worse, causing the endometriosis to spread, the inflammation to go widespread, all of that. Okay, so number one is greens and beans. Beans, super easy. What I do, I'm a member of Thrive Market. You don't have to be a member of Thrive Market to get beans. I'm just talking about how easy it is with them. They have organic beans in a pouch. Is it more beneficial, or, you know, have more nutrient density and healthier, whatever, to cook beans from scratch? Yes, of course. Does everybody have time to do that all the time? 100% not. Okay, especially now. I have a 3-month-old at the time of this recording. I'm not cooking beans for 3 hours. Okay, it's just not freaking happening. So if you know that that's not something that's feasible for you, choose the path of least resistance. Even if it's not quote unquote the healthiest, it's better than not having it at all and grabbing something that's processed, right? So they have the beans, organic beans, in a bag. They're already cooked. You can obviously cook them more, but you literally just open it up, drain them, rinse them, throw it on a salad, throw it on your stir fry, like whatever it is. So an easy way to do this is whatever meal you're having, where maybe you have chicken or steak or whatever, swap it with beans. It's so easy to do that. And you could get them on Thrive Market. Again, they have chickpeas, they have black beans. You could do whatever beans you want. You don't obviously have to do it in Thrive Market. I don't have a code or anything with them. I just really love how convenient it is, and they have a really great price point. So I get the subscription, and I get 8 of each type of bean delivered every single month, because we eat them so frequently. Okay, so number one, greens and beans. Number two, omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory. That's what they are. They're anti-inflammatory. We need to have more omega-3s than omega-6s in our diet. The standard American diet has way more omega-6s in ratio to omega-3s, because of the processed foods, the fast foods, eating out all the time, the oils that we are consuming in packaged foods like chips and bagels and pizza, and going out to restaurants. They cook with like canola oil and all these things that are high in omega-6s. We want to switch that ratio. We want to have more omega-3s than omega-6s. That is going to reduce our inflammation instead of adding to it. So I definitely recommend supplement form of omega-3 fatty acids with EPA, DHA. I prefer vegan-based. I am personally plant-based. And I just like that there's way lower toxicity in them. So I personally take the needed omega-3s. I've been taking that prior to pregnancy, during postpartum. You do not have to be wanting to get pregnant to take these. They're just a really great source of omega-3s. I'll link that below. You could use my code Corinne to get a discount on those omegas and anything from Needed. The other brand that I took before Needed was Diva. I do believe there is a higher amount of EPA and DHA in Needed. I have to look them side by side, but anyway, highly recommend taking omega-3 fatty acids, at least 2 a day, minimum 2 a day. Obviously, always consult with your doctor. Disclaimer: please, before taking any supplementation, talk to your medical care practitioner. But that's definitely one supplement I would recommend. I mean, I recommend a whole supplement protocol. If you're interested in learning more about the specific supplementation I recommend for painful periods and endometriosis, you could check out my supplement masterclass. I'll put that link below as well. But in general, yes, an omega-3 supplement, but also foods, right? We want to talk about our lifestyle and the foods that we're eating, because that is a huge driver of inflammation. So how can you increase the amount of omega-3s that you're eating? Omega-3 sources are seeds like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, all the seeds, okay? Avocados, amazing form of omega-3 fatty acids. Like, can you have a full avocado a day? Can you have half with breakfast and half with lunch? I'm sorry. Well, yeah, you could do breakfast, but half with lunch, half with dinner, whatever. Like, one full avocado a day would be such an easy way to reduce your inflammation and increase your omega-3 fatty acids. Olive oil, coconut oil, almonds, pistachios, like nuts, seeds, avocados, coconuts, all amazing forms of omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, so how can you have more of those in your day-to-day? Again, that could easily look like just having a half an avocado with lunch, half an avocado with dinner, with breakfast, having at least 2 tablespoons of some form of seeds. Okay, I talk about too, like the amount of healthy fats and stuff that to eat in my free training, how to create a hormone balanced meal, which I'll put that below as well, because that could really support you also. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, for sure, cutting out dairy. I mean, woo, for sure. That might be my number 1. I probably should have put that at the top of the list. If you have endometriosis, if you have painful periods, if you have any form of inflammation in your body, the dairy has got to go. Not just minimize, it needs to go. Okay. A lot of people are like, oh, like I'm just 50-50, you could have it some of the time, but just reduce it. No, it needs to go. If you have endometriosis and you are having painful periods, it needs to freaking go, at least for, months at a time. And then you can maybe just have it here and there once your endometriosis is fully healed, but it needs to freaking go. Not only is it inflammatory, but it also increases your estrogen, because if you think about it, where is milk, which is, milk, cheese, whatever, dairy in general, where is it coming from? It's coming from a cow that was pregnant. The hormone levels are obviously increased when you're pregnant. You have a ton of estrogen floating around in your body, whether you're a cow or a human. And when you're consuming this, you are intaking estrogen from another mammal, which is increasing your estrogen levels just in and of itself. And it's also confusing your body. And it's like, wait a second, we have this other estrogen that is now latching onto our hormone receptors. So now our own estrogen production is floating around in the body, causing even more excess estrogen symptoms. Okay. Again, excess estrogen is a main imbalance for endometriosis. So we really want to be conscious of that. I'll put again below another episode I did all about dairy. Go and listen to that after listen to the bean one. A lot of homework for you today. Okay. But I really want to support you in this because I don't want you to be in pain. You don't need to be in pain. There is a way to heal this. Okay. That is number 3. Number 4 is, I'm trying to think, I should have did this in 2 episodes, but here we go. We're already here. Let's keep it going. Number 4 is caffeine. Okay. Caffeine increases your estrogen levels, and it also has a lot of toxins. Okay. Unless you're getting organic coffee, right? But coffee in general, I shouldn't say just caffeine, coffee in general increases your estrogen. There are studies that show that it does that. And it also has a lot of toxins if you're not choosing organic. Like if you're just going to Starbucks or Dunkin' or even just like Maxwell or whatever other brands there are. I don't drink coffee, so I don't even remember. The last time I had it, I was having Maxwell, which is probably like the shittiest form of coffee on the planet. But anyway, making sure that if you are having it, it is organic, but honestly, I would just cut that shit right out, especially if you are someone who's really dealing with debilitating pain. There are so many alternatives. Rise is an alternative. RYZE is a mushroom blend. They have a non-caffeinated form. I actually recently tried it. I haven't had coffee in, let me think, since 2014, and at the time of this recording, it's 2023. It's almost 10 years. Holy shit. I can't, but when I say 2014 in my head, I'm like, oh, it was that long ago. And I think about it, I'm like, wow, it was almost 10 years ago. That's scary. Anyway, and I tasted it. I was like, wow, this actually tastes like coffee. So it's definitely a great alternative. And mushrooms are awesome for your immune system, which is really important for endometriosis. So you can check out Rise. I'll put the link below for that. There's also another brand called Purity, and that is an organic decaf coffee that doesn't have any of the toxins or anything in it, and it's decaffeinated. So that could be another great swap for you. So you could go check those out also. Okay, and the last one is alcohol. I know these last 2, people are like, wait a second, dairy, alcohol, caffeine, like how am I going to cut all these things out? Obviously, it's not meant to be done overnight. It's not meant to be done all at once. This is why in the Mind Your Hormones method, I have separate modules for all of this. The content is dripped out slowly over time because I don't want you to make all these changes at once because it's not going to be sustainable. That's why a lot of people don't see success in this area because they try and do so many things all at once because they want to, and I get why, right? I get why you want to do all these things at once because you just want to feel better. You just want to get rid of the pain. You just want to get pregnant. You just want to not feel like shit anymore and not have to deal with this. You're just like, let me just do all the things at once. And I get that mentality, but at the same time, is that sustainable for you? is you doing that actually going to lead to you doing it long term? Is it allowing you to slowly shift your lifestyle so it's something that you literally create a lifestyle around? That's what I'm always teaching, a step-by-step roadmap to creating a hormone healthy lifestyle, because this isn't something you're just going to do for a little while. Endometriosis is an inflammatory disease. It's something you have to live your life supporting so that it doesn't run the show, so that you're running the show. So I don't recommend doing this all at once. But anyway, alcohol is the last one. Alcohol suppresses your immune system, which again is really important for endometriosis. You really want to help boost up your immune system. Alcohol also increases your estrogen levels, which we already talked about is an imbalance with endometriosis. And it's also hard on your liver. Obviously, we know that, but your liver processes and metabolizes your excess hormones, your metabolic waste, your toxins, and it's going to process and metabolize things that are more life-threatening first. And alcohol is more life-threatening to us than our own estrogen production, even though if it's excess estrogen. So it's going to, our liver is a workhorse. It could do so much, but we want to take the burden off of it so it actually has the bandwidth to then process out that excess estrogen instead of having to focus solely on all the toxins from non-organic foods, from processed foods, from cleaning products, and from alcohol and all these things, right? Like I can go on and on. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of this. Reach out to me on Instagram if this is something that was really helpful for you. And if you want me to do a part 2 on this, because there's so many other things I could talk about with helping heal endometriosis and inflammation levels. So let me know if you want me to do a part 2 and I will, but that's this for now, right? So let's recap this. Number 1, endometriosis is an inflammatory disease. Okay. We want to then address the root cause of it, which is inflammation, and reduce the inflammation as much as possible through what we're eating, how we're living our life, and how well our body can actually detoxify things. So 5 ways you can reduce inflammation. Number 1, greens and beans. Number 2, omega-3 fatty acids. Number 3, bye dairy. See ya freaking later. This is also going to help support your poops, your skin, your energy. Like, it's not meant for human consumption. That's all I'm going to say. Number 4, removing or reducing coffee, and number 5, alcohol. Okay. I will put the links below to the bean episode, to the dairy episode, also to my free training, how to create hormone balanced meals that will really support you. I'll also put below the link to my supplement masterclass if you want to have a specific protocol for endometriosis and painful periods, because it's more than just the omega-3. Like, oh my God, yes, please be sure that you're taking supplements to help support you. And then I'll also link below the Rise mushroom coffee. It does not taste like mushrooms. First of all, I do not like mushrooms. It does not taste like mushrooms at all. It's just made from mushrooms, which is really awesome, but it tastes like coffee. So I'll put those links below for you. And also the omega-3 link from Nita will put below too. So a lot of links, a lot of information today. Go back, listen to this again, back 30, back to the beginning, take notes, do what you got to do. Let me know if this is helpful for you. I always love when you DM me. I even love more when you share this on your social media so that your community can see this and get that message out there. We have to get the message out that pain is not normal and that there are things to do to support yourself. And if you want a part 2 on this, message me and I will be happy to make a part 2 for you. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.